I see what I've been doing. Mostly just sitting back watching interviews and stuff. And looking at what's making the news and still weirded out that well, I'm not really weirded out by it. It is a funny thing that people cotton so much to what person says, which to a lot of degree that's important. Hey, how you doing? Hope all is well on your end. Hope you had a fabulous set of birthday parties. I'm just awake. And I like to do these streams when I get the chance. No video game right now. Hope all is well, Susanna. Hmm. Let me see. And just catching a lot of stuff on the media blitzes and whatnot. Getting to relax on when I can. Enjoying the late night trot. And just going out long enough because I'm actually doing my laundry. Hmm. How are you doing? Huh. Oh, that beat has got to leave out of my head. I got to have different beats. Hmm. A good beat, but it depends on the kind of beat they're wanting. Is it they want that groove beat, that conscious beat, that trap beat, that boom bap beat, Bay Area sliding beat for introspection and self reflection, or a beat to turn the club up and make people feel aggressive? Who's to say? Who's to know? Nobody knows. That's for sure. Something to make them jump out of their head, go kind of crazy, malicious, and do the wicked dance, or something so smooth and complex to make you sit back right before you had that mindset. Or something that'll make you feel at ease, something to get the tension going on like a disease. Who's to say? And are they actually going to do these, or are they just going to do like one at a time during the week? Oh yeah, it's the city, so city comes in weekdays, cutting off traffic, messing it up, and all that jazz. Mm-mm. They can hate me now. Dun, 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 dun. Hey, what up, PMC? Dun, 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 dun. You know, it's funny. That Hate Me Now song, that beat is so epic. And I've never liked any time Puff Daddy was on anything. But that beat was just so slamming. And I do like him saying, "You can hate me now, but I won't stop now." It ain't sunrise here. I still got like 2 hours. But did you get your kata down? Yep. But what was that? I was watching No Hippo. Hippo no Nami no Hippo. I always mess up that name. The boxing anime. Actually, a love letter to pugilism. Yeah. It's not 4 a.m. where you're at. Ain't it like 6? The sun comes up here at 5. It don't come up here at 4. Um, but it also depends on where you're at, because what I didn't know is that Arizona, they don't have daylight savings out there. I don't know if it works like that everywhere, but out here we got daylight savings. And I know you're not in Arizona. I'm just illustrating the point that I don't know if you ever did. Oh, okay. You did your kite at 4 a.m. Okay. That makes sense. I'm just doing my strut. Ah, okay. That works. Hmm, very good. Yeah, that's what I was thinking about. I missed, I was going to make a vid about it. I missed this show called The Lyricist Lounge Show. Not the albums, the TV show on MTV. I used to watch the hell out of that, even though it only had like, it was very limited. And then they had another one, which I would call like the lighter version. It was called Scratch and Burn, but Scratch and Burn was pretty good too. Akira. Yeah, don't get me twisted. The animation's great in there, but honestly, I was so upset with that whole movie. Freaked me out and made me mad. I expected lots more motorcycle ganging. I didn't want to see all this stuff about conscious ESP messing with and all this other stuff. Meanwhile, they made the dang movie when the damn book wasn't even finished yet. But they did the same thing with Scott Pilgrim. Hmm. Well, Keith Cook, almost like your message. My message is a little bit simpler. Thou shalt not killest thine chill. You gotta stay chill through all of it. But people like running rampant with emotions, which is weird because it's odd to talk about when it's on the internet. Because all the comment section is full of, I would say they're emotions, but they're typed out and phony. Especially when they write paragraphs. 1 or 2 paragraphs is cool, but I don't need a whole mission statement. Yeah, they would totally mess up Paul Johnston. Do love me some Shadowhawk though. Heck, the only time he was ever mentioned in animation was on the Max cartoon on HBO. I mean, not HBO, MTV, MTV. Ah, thank you. Have a blessed day. A blessed one. Let me get back to that thing. Mm, well, I can't knock Netflix for everything. I'd like to, but unfortunately, I'm not that committed to hating anything. And I watch a ton of adaptations. And you would think I'd hate all of it, but I said this on one thing. I was like, adaptations of comics and stuff like been put on film adaptations, like film adaptations, have been around since the inception of since film. And my only question was, who was the first to whine about it? But let's see. And all you want to do with your life is play the electric guitar and direct horror movies. Those are beautiful aspirations to have. I used to sing in a metal band. Well, I used to rap in a metal band. It was fun. As far as horror movies go, I can go all day. But like I said, those are good aspirations to have. But the only thing that'll stop you from doing it is you. Better to start off directing whatever you can with what you got than to try to wait till you got everything and then somebody either beat you to it, stole your idea, or they messed up it. And even if they did, you still can do your own thing. Like I was trying to say with the adaptations. I don't really get mad at adaptations no more. I used to when I was younger. But thanks to the internet, I see enough people chirping about comic book accuracy and they messed this up and now it's all woke and all that nonsense. I'm like, first off, they didn't mess it up. If you want the original version, you still got it. You don't have to watch the movie. I mean, no one's forcing you. You want to make your critique, no one's stopping you. I just think it's weird. Well, yeah, all the good people collect physical media, Keith. I mean, streaming services are all well and good, but I like reading the comic book in my hand. But as a kid, when I was growing up, we didn't even have the internet. So all of my information I got through friendships, secondhand, libraries, bookstores. You basically got where you can get it. I don't know where this Yu-Gi-Oh thing came into play of like a Yu-Gi-Oh movie. I didn't even know they were making one. I honestly was barely into Yu-Gi-Oh when it first came out because of my friend. His little brother used to play it, and I used to babysit his little brother, so we'd watch that occasionally. I was like, I felt about Yu-Gi-Oh the same way I felt about Magic, the same way I felt about Rage, the same way I felt about the Marvel Overpower card game. I've been around a lot of card games, and I ain't had the money to really invest in it, so couldn't say nothing about it. Wasn't my bag. I grew up broke. If they want to make a Yu-Gi-Oh movie, which they probably will, and to be honest with you, I'm surprised they haven't already. Let's be honest. There's a lot of things I'm surprised didn't make live action for yet. Didn't see a live action Ninja Scroll. Didn't see a live action Vampire Hunter D. But they probably exist. I mean, you'd be surprised how many properties. And it don't even be like people want to pin that all on the United States, but the Japanese make live actions of their own product that sucks, according to people. Like people flamed the Attack on Titan movie. They flamed the Sailor Moon movie. Well, they were TV shows, and it was strange to say the least. But I can't flame it. I'm not gonna knock it because it's done. Because it ain't like I spent any money on it, so I got nothing to demand back. Heck, I didn't even really watch Dragon Ball Evolution. I saw like 5 minutes of it and I was like, that's enough. We had the upcoming Street Fighter movie talks. And to be honest, I got no feeling for it. It's kind of hard to be it's kind of hard to beat Future Cops, which was the Chinese adaptation of Street Fighter. Came out like early 90s. I think it's still on YouTube. Like that was an insane adaptation because they literally DGAF'd on it, but it worked. I'm like, wait a minute, what's Goku doing here? But I'm not gonna knock it. Like I said, live adaptations of fighting games, you can only expect so much, especially when you get executive producers and stuff involved. Because, I mean, I can't always blame the director. Sometimes the director just works with what the writer gives them, and they don't got much to work with, so they do what they can out of that. And at least the guy that wrote Dragon Ball Evolution apologized. Like, I wasn't thinking, didn't worry about source material. The executive they blocked out Akira Toriyama. You know what I mean? The reason why One Piece is working is because they have the actual guy working on it. They're consulting with him. I don't have a top. I don't know why you keep asking me top questions. I don't got no top five for any of that. For worst anime, I don't know. No matter what I say, people are going to be mad. So let's see. Worst based on what? Like, because there's a lot of them out there that people call me. They tell me there's awesome sauce, and I'm just like, I don't like this at all. I used to didn't like Bleach till I realized I was confusing it with Shaman King. Um, Hello, Eric. What I am doing, well, the title of this is Randumb Walk, which is just me randomly walking, and I spelled random, so I can see where that problem comes into play. Let me fix that. There we go. Oh, worst dialogue? That's a toss up. That is such a toss up. And it really depends. Like, some of the stuff's really not made for us, so I can't say it. Like, I didn't like Hamtaro, but in its defense, it wasn't made for me. So what was there for me to actually like about it? Because I wasn't a kid when that came out. Hmm. I didn't like Beyblade either, but people love that show. So I can once again, people love Beyblade, but I'm just like, for me, they're tops. They're spinning tops. But now they gotta have spinning tops with spirits in them. Okay, not my bag. So I can't say it's worst out of hatred. It's just it ain't for me. So same thing with Pokemon. I think I was a teenager when that came out. I didn't like it, and my reason for that is I can't stand the fact that every single animal on there, every single Pokemon, just says their own name over and over again. I was like, stop. But they did the same thing with a show that was even worse to me. But I made a video on it. It was called Fighting Foodons, where these people were chefs that made these dishes and then put a card in them so that these foods can fight with other food. Oh, my homeboy loved Kolioko. Oh, once again, wasn't my thing. But like a lot of the anime, or I used to call it Japanimation, as we used to call it. A lot of the ones I had really didn't have series to them. The ones that I was into, they're most of the time just like quick made movies, and they were. It was like, please don't let your kids watch this. But parents out here would mistakenly let their kids watch this, and then they'd be horrified at all the violence, gore, and racy material. Well, that's because Lupin the Third was dope. Yeah, Keith, I know they remake Mortal Kombat all the time, but you know what? Nobody ever talks about on here. Uh, Mortal Kombat Conquest, the TV show. I think it was called Conquest. Yeah, the TV show that was short lived, and nobody talks about Defenders of the Realm, which was also short lived. There was the USA cartoon where they would have fatalities And I think personally for me, the fatalities on there were right on par with as bad as the Super Nintendo Mortal Kombat fatalities. And I'm just talking about Mortal Kombat 1. Yeah, my name is named after Wicked City, dude. People thought it was because of my Juggalo age, but nah, I was Wicked City was like one of my favorite movies. And my first name on here is named after a character from Samurai Troopers, or what I knew it as to be was Ronin Warriors. Anubis with his sickle and chain, and he'd always go, "Quake with fear." But yeah, they're always doing the Mortal Kombat. They even Michael Jai White played Jackson like they did like a mini Mortal Kombat movie. I think it's still on YouTube somewhere. Hmm. Y'all just got to give me 1 second. I got to check to see if my clothes are dry. No, no, no. Like I said, I wasn't a fan of Bleach, but I was confusing it with an anime called Shaman King. I kept confusing the two. So it wasn't that I wasn't a Bleach fan. I just confused the shows. So that's on me, Keith. I don't want you to think that I'm just sitting up here hating on Bleach. I said at the beginning I didn't like Bleach because I mistaked it for Shaman King. Because at the time, the first time my exposure to it was on Adult Swim. Hey, Susanna. Like, okay, here's a weird take. People, I didn't get flamed for it because I had a simple thing what I didn't like. But what bugged me is about Naruto, which I never could get into, was all these so-called ninjas, and like only 3 or 4 of them are actually martial artists. And I mean straight up martial artists without the use of powers. I never seen Zach Bell. I think that came after my time. So, like, there's a lot. One cartoon, which anime just Japanese for animation anyway. I love Megas XLR. I thought that was a great cartoon. I mean, come on, giant robot with a giant robot that you find at a junkyard. You pay $2 for it, and you attach all your video game controllers into it, and that's awesome. Plus, I love giant robot chicks. Dig giant robots. I love that theme song. You know what? I never watched My Hero Academia. Be 100 with you. The furthest of my knowledge for that is I started watching Vigilantes, which I thought Vigilantes was pretty good, but I never saw My Hero Academia, and the furthest of my knowledge only extends to RDC World videos. Which Gundam? MS Gundam, Gundam Wing. There's so many of them. And there's one anime. Maybe you can help me out, PMC. I saw it on Netflix like years ago. I don't remember the name of it, but it was about this guy in a wedding tuxedo just traveling the land, fighting stuff. And and whenever it got too serious, he did have a giant robot he could use. But wherever he would stop to eat, this was the trope that he take all of the sauces and pour it all over the food, and he'll either say, "Damn, that's hot. Damn, that's cold." I don't know what it was called. Mm. Well, Landon Flamer, I'm outside because I would needed to go to the store. I felt like being outside. I'm usually outside late at night because it's quiet. And the other question is, why do you care? But I did give you a bunch of answers. So it's not like I was being sarcastic. I really meant that. I really am like curious as to why it matters that I'm outside. And also, like I said, it's late at night and most of the people in my crib are asleep and I don't want to wake them up. There's a baby in the house. If the baby wakes up, I got to take care of the baby. I'm not doing that. Ah, yes, Gundam Wing. Okay. Yeah, Toonami Sundays were lit. Like, I remember when I was surprised they put Tenchi Muyo on there. I was like, really? No, it's not Tuxedo Mask. I don't know what the name is. I looked it up on Google and they just couldn't. And somebody had told me about it. This was when I used to work at a convenience store. So this was like 10 years ago. I do know this. It was that show and a show called Elfin Lied, which was freaking weird. Oh, no, London. I didn't take it no special way. I apologize if I did come off sounding like rude or sarcastic. I I'm kind of autistic, so everything I say kind of comes out sounding wrong no matter what I do. Probably why I stream so much. Less chance of me getting into fist fights over misunderstandings or people trying to shank me again. Too much of that in there. And Devilman, I thought you'd say it's because it's an exceedingly nihilistic show. Fun fact about Devilman, though, it was made by one of the godfathers of manga. He made Devilman and he made one called Cutie Honey, which pioneered magical girls. But yeah, they were very racy, Keith. So I can get it. I understand. But unfortunately, that means I can't recommend any anime to you because most of the anime that I used to watch from the 80s and 90s, you were going to see a lot of that. So I'd have to be like real careful because now I'm figuring that you're young. And I haven't had nobody, parents coming at me talking about some, why did you tell my kids to watch that? I'm like, no, I didn't. But yeah, not, of course, Afro Samurai, that kind of goes without saying. The only issue I ever had with Afro Samurai was the end of the mini movie that they did. The only thing I had against that was the I'm like, you already had your vengeance, Afro, and I get everybody coming at you and everything, and but you and that guy didn't have to throw down. But you know what I did give a shot to? I gave a shot to Soul Eater, and that was a weird show, but it was pretty cool. But like Afro Samurai, Samurai Champloo, Samurai X. Oh, I can't talk about Rurouni Kenshin. Why that guy have to break my heart like that? You mean me talking about Rurouni Kenshin? Why I can't talk about it? Because of what the mangaka did. I can't knock on Bakugan, but I know what you're talking about. It's the card one, right? This was when they had a lot of card anime, and I'm not. And the only reason I place it in that scene is like I place Yu-Gi-Oh, Bakugan, and Card Captors kind of in the same category, even though they're not the same. That's just the only way I can remember is that they involve cards. But I just haven't seen it. There's a lot of them that I missed out on. There's a lot of them that I caught too. Like a lot of them I catch was just from, like I said, being at friends' houses and stuff. Like there's one that was called Tokyo Armageddon. That was crazy. Doing Megapolis. That was nuts. This one called Spriggan, which they remade. That was pretty good. And there was one about this girl who was a hitman and she was still in school. I just remember she had these earrings that were bombs. And that was a messed up anime. But at least I don't slice it up into, like I don't have nothing against slice of life anime. I don't have nothing against romance anime, shonen, seinen. It just depends on what's gonna capture me. Because I was also a big fan of Sailor Moon, but that's because I used to watch that with my little cousin. It was like the only show we could agree on. So I'd watch that because it was a way for me to hang out with my cousin without us fighting all the time. Because she was a kid and kids like to fight. Well, not really all kids like to fight, just the ones you're related to. Heck, I couldn't even play PlayStation with my brother without us rolling around on the ground punching each other because one guy beat the other. We weren't good at taking L's back then. Oh yeah, Wolf Reigns was great. Paranoia Agent was great. The guy that made Paranoia Agent also made this anime movie called Paprika. That is a crazy horror film. That movie's just crazy. Also, like the Outlaw Star was pretty good. And from the episodes I saw, I was really into S. Cryad, but I don't know if I say that right. Yeah. But yeah, those were the different ones that I was into. Yeah. I technically didn't slander Naruto though. I just said what I didn't like about it. I'm not gonna sit up here and say that it's a trash show or nothing. I'm not dogging storylines or animation. But yeah, stands are stands. What are you gonna do? It's just like I remember I read something somewhere. It was a comment on. It wasn't even one of my videos. It was a comment on. I was watching a video. They were explaining to me why Castlevania Nocturne sucked, which was funny because I liked Castlevania Nocturne. And somebody was like, "When someone says it's not a big deal that the adaptation is changed and all that, they clearly have no passion for anything." I'm like, or it really doesn't matter to them. Doesn't mean they don't have a passion for anything. Yeah, there are plenty of good trash shows. I live off trash shows. I like some trash adaptations. You remember I talked about the Guyver? God knows I haven't seen it in years. Huh, years and years and years. Yipes. Hmm. Oh, for anybody that's getting timed out in the chat, I'm not doing that personally. So I wouldn't even know if you are. But if you are getting timed out, it's probably my bot. I never calibrated it. Yeah, because it ain't. But at the same sense, there's nothing wrong with having passion for something. There's nothing wrong with going into the minutia of anything. You know, like I saw this funny video about how Nightwing would totally beat Batman, and I'm like, okay, cool. And I see tons of death battle vids that are like, he'll get beat if it wasn't for all this plot armor. In which case, I always say, of course, there's plot armor because they're fictional characters. These isn't historical documents we're looking at here. Like when I watch Invincible and people talk about how like Battle Beast probably wouldn't have been able to beat Thrag, or Thrag would have beat Battle Beast easily, or Battle Beast would have taken him out if he had weapons. And I'm like, it's fiction. Yeah, PMC, that's true as this is, but you know, the golden rule of the internet is for people to tell you how to feel, and you're supposed to feel that way. And if you don't, they're gonna flame you, trash you, and troll you. It's like hate watching. And like I said, I'm not a Superman fan. I've expressed this a bunch of times, but I've seen every Superman movie. So somebody to the untrained ear would be like, "Well, if you're not a fan, how come you've seen every movie?" I'm like, apparently, I guess I'm the only one who's got friends and family that like stuff like that, and I just happen to be hanging with my family while the movie's playing. Yeah, it's undefeated at absolutely nothing. Oh crap! You busted me for something I said 20 years ago. You got me. Yeah, but didn't Pac say some days I want to wake up and help? Some days I wake up and I want to help the world. Other days I wake up and I'm like, F the world. Because, you know, apparently the way you feel at that time is the way that you always feel, I guess. Yeah, well, you know, they got to have something to do. I just think it's funny when a glazer accuses another glazer of glazing. I'm like, if y'all gonna glaze, glaze. And who cares if somebody does say to me, I'm glazing, I'll be like, uh huh. And you're a glazer. Cool. You're gay. Awesome. Don't care. I don't care if nobody got a type. If it does stick in my mind, it's because almost everything sticks in my mind. I ain't really can't control that. It's not even on an unconscious level. Sometimes I just be thinking about stupid crap. That's why these are called random thoughts. Oh yeah, the jealousy thing. Hmm. You know, it's weird when people say that you're jealous. And I'm always like, especially if someone that you're talking crap on, they say that you're jealous of them. And even if that's true or not, that literally sounds like something your parents told you to compensate for you getting your ass kicked all the time at school. And I'm not saying that to be jerky or jokey because I used to hear that because I used to have to fight all the time. Sometimes I got beat up. Sometimes I did the beating up. Tell my mama they're jealous. No, no. Sometimes people are just jerks. So that's not like something like you know how people go. Well, that sounds like something your mama will tell you. And it's like I can only think of that Simpsons quote when he's like, "Nice pajamas. Did your mommy buy them for you?" Of course she did. Who else would? You win this round. It's still one of my favorites. Yeah, yeah. Easy's input would be great. Razu, it's just a random live, bro. Or sis. I don't really know. But yeah. Apparently if you go live on your mobile phone vertically, it's pretty much like shorts. When you scroll, it just pops up. I've seen a lot of lives that way. Oh, I got what you meant, PMC. No one will ever accuse you of actually bad spelling or incorrect spelling. Besides, predictive text. What are you gonna do? Heck, remember? I thought I wrote random thoughts. I wrote random thoughts. Yeah, if I know Easy, he's probably just waking up. I'd be catching him on the flip. I caught him in someone's chat and I told him about how the other night I was rapping a nice Wonder Beats and he was like, damn it, I missed it. Hmm. Razoo. Hmm. Do I have something to share with the internet? No. And why am I doing a live? Because I felt like doing a live. I do these quite a bit after a walk or during a walk. Helps me get my thoughts out. And this way, I'm not actually talking to anybody, but at least if I'm on my phone, I'm not bothered by any other late night prowlers in the evening. Most of the time, occasionally I get bothered. Luckily, I've only had to bloody my knuckles a couple of times, but that's nothing. Hmm. I could, but I don't smoke weed, so there's that. Number two, I get that I popped up in your reels, but you could just keep swiping. I catch a lot of lives and I'd be wondering what they're doing, but I don't actually type it. I just keep going. Also, a couple of the people that I talk to is this is like the only way I do it because I don't do Instagram, Facebook, or any of those other social media things. I talk to them on here. A lot of these videos are just me talking and responding to said people. But even if you tag them, they tend to go to everybody. Also, live because this is my psychotherapy. Smoking a blunt works for you, not me. Hey, ain't nothing wrong with curiosity. I'm actually just answering you. I apologize if I come off weird. It's also something I do when I have insomnia. Laying in bed and staring at the ceiling just ain't what it used to be. And like I said, I don't smoke no more and I don't drink. So I just kind of got to grin and bear it. Mm. Nah, I walk everywhere. I'm a hiker, but I'm not a climber. Like almost all of my videos are me walking somewhere because I don't make. Well, like I tell everybody, I am not a content creator. I'm just some dude who babbles a lot. That's usually my outro. I can't believe I have an outro, but I gotta mute my mic and stuff because people are still asleep in the crib. I'll be right back. Sorry, I just got done with grabbing all my laundry and everything. Hey, cat. It's right here. Yeah. Let's see. I like that. Ooh, nice. Sorry. Dog had to get my clothes. They do. They do it quite a bit. It is literally their thing. It trips me out. But at the same time, you just kind of let it roll. Mm. Yeah, like, we told you the different things that have been said. Oh, man, the clips are coming to town. I might have to check that out. Sorry, I just got into the house. It is. It's all in good fun. And but you know what? We- It actually just is a it's a gap thing. I mean, people don't watch a lot of movies. Some people know. Like one time I quoted Brother Lynch Hung and somebody said, "That's from Texas Chainsaw Massacre." And I'm like, no, it isn't. It's literally from Brother Lynch Hung. I just had to change a lot of the words. Well, not the words. I had to change a lot of the profanity because I don't swear a lot on here. Yep. Usually I'm like, I see where this is going. Like the Brother Lynch one. What was the fuck? What was the fuck? Yeah. Sorry, I lost my train of thought on that one. But yeah, a lot of the times they don't get the quotes. And it goes back to I was watching this reaction video today, right? And these youngsters are watching the video there's a South Korean rapper, but she's originally from New York. Her name's Jessie. And in the video she's got Jada Kiss is there, which is a big, flex. And these guys that are watching it are like, "Hey, who's that guy? Is he like a producer or something?" And even in their own chat, they didn't know who this was. And then in the comment section, they were explaining this is Jadakiss. And that yeah, it shows that a lot of young kids don't know who this is. And then somebody was like, "Well, I was born in the '90s. I just didn't listen to a lot of Western music in my country." And I'm like, "Yeah, but these guys are American, and they didn't know, but they were also young. So whatever." Right? You just kind of got to let it roll. And just because I know, like, there's people that'll say, and I think they say it to just be uppity, like, or high and mighty, or like, jerkish, where it's like, "Well, I was born in the '80s, and I don't know who the Beastie Boys are. I guess they're not that famous." I'm like, great. Yeah, some people just want to argue. I don't really waste time. And that's the sad part because I try not to come off contentious, but I've always had a problem with talking to people. Like, just because my voice, I don't have a lot of inflections and emotion in it. I'm always very monotone. Like, even in the rapping, it's just the way it always was. And I work hard at it. That's why some chatters that come on here, when they ask me a question, I don't know if I'm being trolled or not, but I do answer it and I try to answer it to the best of my ability without sounding jerkish. Like earlier with Razoo, you know, asking me why am I doing a live, am I offering something to the internet? And I'm like, no. And then he said I popped up on his reel and isn't real an Instagram term, but it doesn't matter because it's like, it just popped up on there and I was like, yeah, well, it's like shorts. You just scroll and I see a lot of lives on here where I don't know where they come from. Sometimes I stick in, a lot of times I just scroll up. I don't say anything about it. Or if I say it out loud, I'm not typing it. It's just the way I am. Like I've seen a lot of videos on here that I didn't like, or halfway through, I'm like, oh, shut up. And I just, scroll right past it, but I don't bother to put thumbs up or thumbs down. At least I can say, to the best of my knowledge, I have never thumbs down a video or a post of any kind. Because for all the people that think a thumbs up really makes or break you a lot of the time, I guess it can, but then you end up with unique situations like Rebecca Black. She had like 10 million views and like what, almost 5 or 6 million thumbs down. But that means that 10 million people still viewed that video and they got her paid. So whether you like that song Friday or not, she still got paid. Yeah, no, that's so true. What you're saying about about their favorite rapper, and a lot of these people don't even be hip hop fans. It's like a lot of people, they always say, I don't listen to rap, but I like this. I'm like, oh, shut up. Well, yeah, I mean, look at me. You don't ever hear me saying comment, like, or subscribe. It just ain't in my system to do so. Cat, what's wrong? What are you doing? You need to go out. Ugh. I was just out there. I kept the door open for you. But yeah, I mean, you know, people do that all the time. Or people that listen to one artist over and over again think that they got the right to tell you about an entire style of music, which once again trips me out. But I don't mind if somebody's just getting into the music and they want to know more. That's different. One, to educate yourself is different than coming in there swinging, thinking that you know all of this stuff. So I kind of get the gatekeeping, and I do get the stands on that level. At least they're intimate about it. Yep. It's like I saw this video with Tyler the Creator talking about how he doesn't like new rap fans, and so they were talking about his "Hey Now" remix, that he did to Kendrick Lamar's "Hey Now." Like his own rap he made, I'm that guy, using that beat. And everybody's like, why are you rapping over Kendrick Lamar? And he's like, oh, you didn't grow up in rap because this was the thing that rappers did. If they really liked the beat or a song, they would put their own verses to it. Right? Exactly. Cover songs and samples, you know, the backbone of hip hop. Oh snap! We love me to Tech Nine, but that's always the way it is. And rather than getting worked up about it, like you, I just let it flow. For you cannot change others. You can only work with yourself. Yeah, I like beef on wax. I like diss tracks when it just stays on track. You know, Sometimes even if you guys had a problem, it wasn't like a shootout. It was just, you made your songs and then if you needed to, you threw down. Yeah. It's also like the 7 levels of rap video I saw. I'm like, whatever. Yeah, sometimes there's fast rappers with no bars. Sometimes there's fast rappers that have bars. But also, you know, I think Harry Mack's great. I like his attitude. I like his raps. I like how he does it. I like that he has his own lane. I like that he, always gives it up to the legends of off the top freestyling. I just like how he rolls. And I've seen his progression. You've seen him start off and he was good, and then he got better and he got better and he got better. I can't knock a guy that raps positively. Even when he said, like he said, he's like, when I say rap whack rappers, that's a blanket statement. Do you notice he never actually calls anybody particular whack? I listen to a lot of YouTube rappers. There just aren't as many anymore. And then some, like you would think, are YouTube rappers are probably rappers in their own cities, and they done shows in their own cities. There's a lot of them that do that. Like my friend Echo. People call him a YouTube rapper, but he was doing shows out on the streets and out in Vegas. So it's like him on YouTube, but that's not where he started at. Just like Grizzy Hendrix is not a YouTube rapper, he's a rapper that is on YouTube, but he had already had a career in rapping before he got on the YouTube platform. Like Cypher Gang, I think they were already rappers and stuff, but they did the Pokemon ciphers and whatnot. Like 6 Seconds was already running around as a rapper, you know. So I don't know any rappers that exclusively started on YouTube. Like I don't know if they did, like that started exclusively on YouTube and then started doing shows, or were they grinding out on the street, getting their 10-minute sets, then discovered being on YouTube. Like, because my band, you know, we didn't have a YouTube presence. We did everything on the streets. But I don't really know if that's the right answer that you're looking for or not looking for. But if that answers your question about how I feel about YouTube rappers, like I don't know the ones that started off like, in the streets first. And I don't mean in the streets as in on the streets, but I mean they didn't have stuff released even on the internet yet when they were doing their thing. That's all I mean by on the streets. I mean, it kind of goes with like what SoundCloud rappers. I mean, I think a rapper's a rapper. Wherever you get it's where you get it. I can say this though. I think it's kind of trickier if you start your stuff off on YouTube. And if you only built your fan base on the internet, it's really hard to tell who's going to show up and who's not. Because it used to be establish yourself on your street, establish yourself on your block, establish yourself on your neighborhood, establish yourself in your city, then establish yourself in your county, establish yourself in your state. You know, But I'm still thinking in the mindset of old school. Because like anybody on the internet, you can release some stuff on the internet and you might get, let's say you get thousands of people on there, but are those thousands of people in your area? And it's hard to throw a show and you got thousands of fans online, but will they all travel to see you? So Tech can say that if he wants to. He's Tech. If you don't like that, he's got a extensive catalog full of amazing stuff. Plus, that's actually heat what he said here. But as far as Tech Nine goes, doing songs with YouTube rappers, Tech Nine does songs with any artist that he likes. He likes artistry. And like you said, he's even done songs with whack rappers that he didn't like, and those are the ones he charged. Well, yeah, because rap lyrics taken out of context is always funny. I like when he said everybody want to clown on Soldier Boy, but how many of them say that they know the boy? That song "Clown," I mean "Crybaby." I hear them crying like why, cry baby. Yeah, you know, and some people that he likes that I don't agree with, but I don't think it's my job to agree with everything he says and does. It's just like, and like I said, anybody that can get their fans, hey, as long as they love you, cool. Even if they're toxic, good for you. You got to deal with that. Yeah, well, that video, I would love to care what those people got to say, but then when you hear their selections, you're just like, oh, okay. I mean, for Pete's sake, they got people that say that MGK totally walked the floor with Eminem. Yeah, the problem is that their list never works because everybody on their list is usually huge fans of Tech Nine. But also, it's kind of weird because yeah, it's just like when people they like to diss old school rap all the time. They say, "Well, all these all these old rappers, they diss this." And then I hear their music, and I just hear poo 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 poo, and I'm like, "Well, that's because that's what you were presented with." Me neither. Like I said, I will never take away from Lupe Fiasco's amazing rap skills. That dude is an amazing rapper. All the other stuff, people are free to feel the way that they feel about him. I'm not gonna tell nobody how to feel about him. That's not what this is. Hey, what up, bad conduct? Yeah, I love when I say old heads. I still try to figure out how being old is an insult. Because I think of it this way. What's the yeah? Ain't nothing wrong with being called an old head. What do they say? That's an old man that survived in a young man's profession. That makes him very dangerous. But I do subscribe to what he said on The Simpsons. At one point, I was with it until what I was with wasn't it, and what it just confuses and terrifies me. Besides, I also hate the saying nobody cares about lyrical rap anymore. Shut up. People care about it. Just because you don't, or the mainstream doesn't care about, it doesn't mean it doesn't get cared about. And also, when is this? What is this thing where people keep using the mainstream as what's good and what isn't? The mainstream where nobody really lasts. Bad conduct. That's cool. Ah, you know what I mean? Bedtime. Yeah, I'm about lyrics. I mean, don't get me twisted. I'm not gonna be one of those people that sit up there and be like, I don't got time for vibe because guess what? I grew up on when I don't know, maybe when I was a kid, and this is just old thinking, I could have sworn there was a place for all forms of rap. I got my Bismarcky on when I wanted to get my laugh on and hear some bars. If I wanted to vibe out, I had that artist. If I wanted some conscious rap, I had that artist. If I wanted some gangsta, I had that artist. If I wanted some mafioso, I had that artist. If I wanted some horror, I had that artist. Yep. You know what I had heard? Well, I didn't hear it. I heard it. I was watching the YouTube video, and they were talking to Pusha T and Malice, clips, and they're talking about his Exodus video, and he said that video haunts him and it scares him because a lot of the people that were in that video are not around anymore, or they're not around for two reasons. And you know those two reasons: grave or jail. But yeah, see, rapping back in the day, the message got messed up because it wasn't glorifying the message. The message was telling you what's wrong with all of this and how it is that, you know what I mean? Like it wasn't, but it also was a thing where you would rap about selling the drugs, not doing the drugs. But also I still believe that's kind of manufactured because it's manufactured to tell you that this is good. It's manufactured to tell you that this is what's popping, even though it probably isn't. 'Cause there's literally some people that are at the top, and I'd be sitting up here going, how? I also hate when people say stupid like, all right, then name me three bars from your favorite artist. Shut up. You're missing my whole point. Name me three bars from yours. You can't. Well, you know why reactors don't want to hear that lyrical stuff? It's simple. It's real simple because the most popular ones got their audience from not listening to that lyrical stuff. You get reactors that listen to real music, and you got reactors that listen to whatever gets them the views. And it's not. And I'm not even saying like I'm not calling whatever they're reacting to not real music. I'm saying that the reactors aren't really listening to the music to begin with. They're going with whatever's going to get them their views. which is weird because most of the women I met were at conscious rap shows. I also met them at ICP shows, which apparently they always say that girls don't like ICP. I'm like, are you kidding? It's also I hate when people say scaring the hoes. I'm like, wait, I thought we don't love them hoes or care about them that much. And you can't scare no hoes. They be writing letters to serial killers because they look cute. I don't want to hear it. Yeah, I know. Which is weird because the most hardcore fans are the girls. They're the ones buying all the stuff up. I know. I've seen it. I've experienced it. The dudes will buy up the albums. The girls buy all the merch. The guys, they buy the, they buy the shirts and stuff and all that. But I knew girls that bought all of that. And also I performed at the gathering. So I know. It wasn't a high men to women ratio. I met more women there than I met dudes. But anybody, people like making blanket statements. What are you gonna do? It's also weird to me because people be I like people who always push their opinions off as fact, but that's not a fact that I'm spitting right there. That's just my opinion. But somebody will indubitably go facts if I'm in the right area. Like, and the reason I say that about reactors when it comes to music is even though I am a K-pop fan and I dig K-pop, I like usually pretty old K-pop. A lot of the new stuff I don't dig, but I see like there was a period not too long ago, probably like 4, 5 years ago, where everybody was a K-pop reactor. And now all the channels that I used to go to for these, they slowed down on it, which let me know that a lot of them were just there for the views. Yeah, well, I don't want to alarm the children, but getting lit isn't a Gen Z thing. They've been saying that one for quite some time. Let's get lit. What? Lucini got that up the sky. I can't quit. What? But anyways, yeah, I know. I see that so much. It's so funny. That's why I don't do reactions. Well, that and I already told you, I'm pretty monotone about everything. And also, I don't take requests. They'll be like, I did it for the views. And then they trap themselves. Because guess what? Now that they did that reaction, they get tons of views on that. Then they try to do something else. They're not getting any of the views because all those people just came for that. You're not really establishing a community. And it's your channel, but as long as you serve them, it's their channel. But I will kill that other myth. Like a lot of the times, reactors don't get paid to react to that stuff. That stuff gets claimed. Sometimes they get struck. So that's why a lot of reactors will charge for reactions. I think it's funny when they charge underground artists money to react to their stuff. And I'm like, dude, I'm guaranteed I'm not going to copyright claim you. Trust me, I do plan on doing some, but it'll mostly just be, I wouldn't call it reacting. It would be called, reviewing. Like, not even reviewing. It'd be just me checking out stuff I ain't heard in years to see if I still like it. That's the funny thing about doing them. And I'm not saying all of them are fake. There's some genuine ones out there. But since my taste in music is so everywhere, I don't want to end up being one of those guys that are like, man, I miss when you used to react to this style of music. And it'd be like, dude, I never really had a genre. I just like music. Period. And also, I don't want to be confused for a bar breakdown channel. But there's a fine line between reacting and content there. That's because Grizzy's not a YouTuber. I told you, Grizzy was already a rapper beforehand. He been getting hated on. He been blackballed. I've talked to Grizzy a bunch of times. And we don't always agree on a damn thing. Like we agree on a lot of stuff, but we don't always agree on a lot of stuff either. But that's why I like him. I'll tell her straight up. I don't agree with you on that. And that song sucks. And that's cool. Because at the end of the day, and I think I told him this once. I'm like, you're a New Yorker. You're always gonna be New York gung ho about everything. It's New York over everything, which is fair. But it's still like, all right. I don't hate on Dax. I don't like him either though. So, like Dax ain't even in my radar. I've only heard of him through the YouTube beef that they had. It's just like with Screwface John. Screwface John, I heard about him through all of his YouTube beef. I've heard some of his songs. They're not bad. I think Screw can rap his butt off. It's just not really my style most of the time. Yeah, I've only seen him through reactions. Like I've never actually seen him. Like I don't knock him. Um, he does whatever he can get there. But I can't knock Dax. Yeah, I'm like, clearly these people have never been to the Midwest. You've been to the Midwest, almost every basement looks like that, even mine. And we had turntables in there, but it still looked like some place where you hid people. Because Screw's from out in if I remember correctly, Screw came from out in Nebraska. Like he's Nigerian, but his base of where he started establishing himself was in I think Lincoln, Nebraska. If you've been to the Midwest though, in any house, it's every basement looks serial killery because you're in a freaking basement. It's like I still freak out about attics. There's one at this house that I stay at, and it freaks me out. Exactly, because it's a freaking basement. What do you want? And that didn't even how he started. I think he started reaction videos from his car, from a car. Because I've seen a lot of his old reaction videos before he had all the dreadlocks. He was sitting in cars. But also, like I said, me hating on Dax or Screw or nothing, it's not my place to because I have no issue with them whatsoever. I don't know them personally or any of that stuff. I don't know anybody personally on this stuff, so I can't really talk mess on them. And if I do have an issue with anybody, I'm not gonna sit up here and say it. I have this thing where you keep it to yourself. because it ain't that deep. Yep, do it. I would have done it from the car too, but once I saw like the editing process, I'm like, ugh, I don't know how to edit. And then the cap cut and stuff. That's one of the reasons I use the StreamYard. I'm still trying to learn how to use OBS. Or I could just start off any old way and then, eventually get to a point where I can get an editor. I don't know. I'm just saying I don't be talking mess about nobody. If I do, it's not online. And it ain't like I'm talking about in the back because once again, I don't know them. But I'm not gonna sit up here and be like, get on here and make a vid about them. And the thing that I like about Grizz is even if he's had beef on here with people, usually he's met them in some capacity. You know what I mean? He's met them before. He's talked to them personally. As far as the music goes, he'll tell you if the music sucks. That's a different thing. But I'm talking about one thing to criticize, another thing to talk mess. And besides, I think that in some small way, everybody gets on the internet because of the old saying, for every seat, there is an ass, or for every ass, there is a seat. In other words, I might not like it, but somebody else do. And who am I to say that they're wrong for having likes and preferences? That's just dumb. I mean, if you're a young dude, feel free to do that. That's what we do as kids. We sit up there and tell our friends why that's wrong and trash and all that stuff. Good, healthy, stupid arguments, because that's part of being a guy, being dumb and pointless. Yeah. Charlemagne. I don't. Yeah. He's Charlemagne. That's all I can say. But yeah, Charlemagne will do that. And I like how Eminem said it though when he was talking about his certain albums that people like. He's like, "All right, it's cool if you don't like it. That's just not my cup of tea. I'm not feeling it. I don't like the album. But don't sit up here and tell me over and over that it's trash because that's annoying." And the only reason why that works is because like what Tech Nine said on Fragile. The one thing you forget is this: I'm an artist and I'm sensitive about my shit. I'm fragile. And speaking as an artist, I'm not going to sit up here and say we're narcissistic or egotistical because that's already known. But what people forget about artists is this: very sensitive people, very sensitive. Say one thing. It don't even have to be about me. Be like, your eyebrows are crooked. Damn, it messes them up for a whole day, right? Just like what people say, I prefer old Eminem, not new Eminem. I'm like, all right, cool. But a lot of the people weren't there for old Eminem that talk about liking old Eminem. And I remember all the hate he got from all sides. I remember people protesting outside of his concerts. Like people think that online canceling something, yeah, that sucks, but ain't nothing like having people standing outside of your concerts with a bunch of freaking picket signs, making up chants and having megaphones. Talk that shit. I'm gonna say that shit. Yeah, like, and it's funny. I wasn't even an Eminem fan back in the day, but I started having to defend him because I constantly kept hearing the hate. And I'm like, man, this is a lot. So that's how that got established. But yeah, I don't know. People on the internet, they always got something to say. Yeah, I expect the skill too. I can't lie. Wasn't a big fan of his voice, but I'm not gonna sit up here and just spend all day on it. Just like people that like my voice, they don't like my raps, and I'm cool with that. Heck, people don't even like my videos, which once again, didn't ask anybody to like them or watch them. URL, the rap battles. I haven't seen enough of them to say anything. Like, so I don't know the controversies and whatnot. Like, honestly, when it comes to battle rapping in general, I'm too much of an old head, and I can admit that. Like, I grew up where there was a beat, you got 30 seconds, you got 60 seconds. That was how I knew it to be. You didn't know your opponent in advance and whatnot. So I can't really say. And there's some people that prefer that. I don't know. I always liked when the rapper could, pop off to any beat. I always thought that was the art of rhyme. Yep. See, that's what I know a freestyle to be. And yeah, you use some lines that you had written down in bars, and that was cool. Some people have their establishing bars. I hear people say he's repeating that line. I'm like, that's an establishing bar. Like to the back then, they used to say that was Kid Creole's thing. He was the originator of that. Yeah, and that's what I enjoy. I enjoy that kind of rap. Like, you know, I kind of wish that Cage would release something new. A lot of people don't give Cage enough props, even though Cage is crazy, but he's great. Yeah, good old flow circles. But there's still so many people I haven't heard. Like I said, I never heard Two Wayward Souls before, but they've been around in the old days. But they got new stuff coming out all the time. And a lot of the stuff I can't keep up with because there's so much coming out now. I kind of enjoy that everybody got something coming out. What is this? Oh, Castro, I remember him. Yeah, especially when remember that conspiracy that I killed an MC was Tupac. Yeah, I always like revisiting all of that stuff. Yeah, you stay blessed as well too. Speaking of Blessed, I wonder what happened to Blessed. He disappeared. Anyways, yeah, you have a good one. I'm finna get off of here too because as summer come up soon, I gotta get some sleep. But uh, you have a great one. And remember, people, I ain't no content creator. I'm just some dude who talks too much. Much love and peace out.